Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Happy Friday. So today we're going to go ahead and do the wiring for the ECU switch. If you're not familiar, this is for the airbag control module. And now this will communicate with the screen up front and also the compressor and tell the compressor when to turn on, when to turn off, and all that fun stuff. So go ahead and stay tuned. So, a couple of you were asking about where the factory mounts are versus the radio mounts, the aftermarket radio. So these L brackets right here, as you can see, are just connected with 2 bolts on each side. Now these are oversized bolts, so I did have to force them into the L bracket, but now as you can see, it doesn't go anywhere. Now, if you ran smaller bolts, you'd have to get some nuts on there and tighten them down. But this is just the easiest way. And I didn't have any spare nuts laying around. These were just like extra bolts laying around. So all that's good. And then the radio goes under the bracket. And you just use these little tiny screws. And you go through the holes right here to screw it in.
Alright guys, we're going to go ahead and wire up our new switch. Now this is going to be for the air compressor itself. So that way it's not just a plug in the back, this will be something we can toggle on and off when needed. Now this is the proper way. Again, right now it's set up temporarily so I can still drive the car and air up when I need, but this definitely needs to happen. Okay, so we have some wire that has been roughly measured. Of course, your zip ties, the quick connectors we used for the rest of the stuff last time. Some braided sleeve. This will help keep the wire protected and look pretty. And then we have the switch. Now, this switch is the same dimensions as the one we used for the underglow. However, it's not the same brand. So the wiring colors are going to be a little different than the previous 2 videos. Right here. So we have your wire. This is just roughly measured out. You have your expansive sleeve here. This will help protect it and make it look pretty. You get your zip ties, the quick connectors we used last time, and our switch. Now, this switch is the same dimensions as the JDM ones I used, that are iJDM ones I used before for the underglow and the interior lights, but this is a different brand, so the wires are in a different order, a different color combination than before. So I'll still explain how that wires up. And then this one is blue. I just wanted it to stand out, so if I'm driving or when I park, just something I can glance at and see the color difference between the orange and the blue for the buttons. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and take this guy out. This is just a good old-fashioned power switch. So the way this one functions is this light is off when the car is on. This one will be on when the car is running. And then so when I switch it on, this light here will light up, indicating that the accessory or whatever we have hooked up to it is now getting power. So in this case, this would be the air compressor, or not the air compressor, but the ECU for the airlift management system. So once this gets power to the ECU, then the compressor will also run as well. Now the compressor has its own power, but the compressor also relies on the airlift ECU to tell it how much air is in the tank and all that fun stuff. Alright, so if you take a look at the switch here, we have 4 wires. Ground is the far right. Then you have your power here. And then this is the power for the switch to display the little light at the bottom. And then your green is going to go to your accessory or what you're trying to power. So we're going to bundle these two together. And then this guy will go directly to the ECU power wire for the airlift management. And then this will just ground. Well, I definitely want to make this wiring setup prettier than I have done other setups. So we're going to go ahead and use these quick connectors. Instead of trying to use the soldering quick shrink sleeves. Then we're going to use some of this to tidy everything up together. So let's go move this guy out of the way. Now this being a smaller gauge wire, we don't need to go with the biggest one. So let's go with a red. We may have to use a blue, but let's take a look. So we need the red, and then the yellow. And these have already been kind of stripped from the manufacturer. So I can go ahead and take those off. And I'm gonna take off a little more. I wanna get just that much more. So let's go ahead and strip that a little bit. Again, I love these new wire strippers. These things have been a time saver for sure. Just like that. And now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna twist these guys up together, make it one connection. Nice and tight. And then now we can go grab our red connector. And we're gonna slide it into that hole. Hold on, it's gonna wanna be finicky a little bit. Alright, so it's in there, and you want to use, yeah, so it's just a little, fold that up a little bit. I just kind of going into the blade. There we go. And then go over here. Just gonna pinch it there. And now it's not going anywhere, that's solid. And we're gonna do the same thing for the green. So we're gonna give a different spade. So this has the female on it. We're gonna put a male connector on the red, or the green, sorry. So let's find the red male. In this way, when you're under the dashboard or wherever you are, you can't accidentally connect the wrong wires to each other because this will have to connect to a female and that will have to connect to a male. So make life really easy. Let's see. There we go. I got 2 wires, and then this I will just ground to an existing ground that's there, which is I have a connection with a bolt, so that will do that. Now it's time to go ahead and get this prepped, and we're gonna mess with this and this next too. So go ahead and take this guy out. And in theory, this would connect just like that. And if we ever need to replace this or even the switch, we could just unplug it and put a new one in. So we got this prepped, this one's prepped. So let's go ahead and get some of this expander loom and let's go and get it all put together. This is the brand we're running. Outer diameter is 1/4. Then we have your length and color, link in description below, of course. Little handy dandy open here sticker. On top. Yeah, I can feel it right there. There we I love this stuff. So pretty. And then we're gonna give a loom for these both. And it's gonna be we're gonna cut it right about here. There we go. Now it's on there, let's use the zip ties. That's so much better looking. We're gonna add one more in the middle. Just nice and tidy. There we go. It's time to cut this. Voila. Then this just grounds out again. Connect these, and of course you can still tell which wire group goes with which. So I'll know that this is the power and then this is the accessory. So nice and cleaned up.
So under the driver's side, you're gonna have this little kick panel here. Now you have to unclip it here just by prying on the top, the bottom, go back and forth, you'll get it. And then once you do, you pull this way, and you see this little tiny foot goes right there against the HVAC unit, whatever this is right here. What we're gonna do is we're gonna run the wire underneath everything here to get to the passenger side, so it can go up by the glove box and then back down. Okay, so we got the wire ran. We need to go ahead and pull it over up here and tuck it to where I need it, and then zip tie it, and then we can pull the slack back over there so we can adjust the length as needed. Okay, so our wire has been cut to length. Now it's time to wrap it and put some zip ties to make it look pretty. All right, so as you can see here, we have the 3 switches. Now, I want to point this out. The top lights up here, these are actually not on. They're just bleeding through, and the camera is seeing that as on. So what it on looks like is like this. So now that the car is on, let's go ahead and flip the ECU on. And as you can see, that will automatically give us power to this screen. I'll go ahead and flip it off to show you. And now that is on. Now, I don't see this flickering that's going across. It's just the camera with the frames. But once the PSI in this, which is right here in the center, once this hits below the 145 PSI, this will go ahead and kick on and run till it hits the 175 PSI that's required for the system. And then, like I said, you can control these. This is the front left, front right, rear left, and rear right. Max, ride height, and then bottom out. And again, this is normally off when I start the car, and so is this one. And so when I start the car, I go ahead and flip that switch on, adjust the PSI and the bags. Now, what's nice about having the manual switches, let's say you're going somewhere and you need to talk to someone that's not in the vehicle, or like you're at a drive-through, or you're talking to another car next to you. If your air compressor is on, they're not going to be able to hear you very well, at least with the current setup. So now if I really want to, I could literally just turn this off, and you know, it just, everything turns off and it's fine. The bags will still hold air and stuff, but that does give you some flexibility with noise and stuff like that, without having to turn the actual car off. Well, that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, the switch is up and running, the bags are all installed, the control module, well, the controller is where I kind of want it to be. I'm working on a 3D printed like cover to kind of lock it in place. And then the trunk stuff, we're not 100% done with mounting, but everything is stationary and looking good at this moment. Again, I want to thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I'll see you guys around next week for more cool stuff. Stay safe and have yourself a great day.